Yo, so what's going on? Back to my channel, thank you. If you notice something here, I got some blonde hair. I like to change out my hair, and yeah, that's what I really do. My hair grows so fast, I change it from purple. My favorite color is this like blonde, bleach, faded look. Cause my hair is so short, I edge myself up. I go get a haircut, get a bald fade. It's what we call a south side fade. That's what I got today. Also, if you notice behind me, this whole house, this room is kind of empty. I had a couch over there, I had a bunch of other stuff, but it's all gone now. Cause why? Because life update, I'm moving back to Austin from Houston. It's gonna be a bittersweet transition. Everything here is about family and stuff. Back in Austin, you know, it's kind of crazy. Huge tech scene, moves a lot faster, a lot of influencers, all that, but it's where I live, it's where I was born. My family's there, my friends are all there, so I'm moving back. So this is my last web designer, freelance tutorial, lifestyle vlog that I'm doing here in Katy. Actually, I might do one more, my personal vlog that I have, another channel. Yeah, this is pretty much the last recording, so bittersweet moment for me. I appreciate the journey that you guys have been on. Amazing growth since I started the channel here in Katy. Amazing growth. I appreciate everything, and thank you. Let's get to it. Framer here in my demo canvas thing project that I've been doing. All right, there's two ways to do this awesome little tactic, and one of them involves creating a component. So let's create a component really fast. So we'll draw a frame. We'll draw a frame right here. Doesn't matter what it is, and then we'll just right click and click create component. We'll call this main background, main BG for short. And right here we'll have this is going to be 1200, just the standard, and height will be whatever. I think the standard is 900, I guess. Yeah. All right, and then we're going to just name it default. I always name them default. I got that from Nandi, and it's just best practices, so we'll do that. And then this background will be a background image. Let's get it from Lummy. I really like this one, so we're gonna, well, yeah, I really like this one. We're gonna roll with that one. It's the first one that came up. Okay, so this is the first background image. Okay, and then we're gonna go back to the home screen and click on desktop, and this is gonna be the main HTML DOM that we're rolling with. So like the main background of the HTML, the whole page. We'll drop this component into that. We're going to actually get this to be position fixed, because it's going to be like stuck in one spot the whole entire time. Zeros. All right, so it's going to be in the background the whole time as you scroll. So see how it's on top of everything? So we really don't want that. So we're going to drop the Z index to 0, so it's always going to be behind everything. Okay, so it doesn't show, I forgot to mention, it won't show up here because it's stuck at the top of the canvas. If you preview it, it will show, but you make sure to go to the next section and you make sure there's no fill here. So it has no background. And then so when you preview it, scroll, there it is, the fixed background. Just look how clean that looks. And then we can, for like this other section here, let's add a background color to this one. Let's do the red. Let's change the color since we changed it to dark white. Actually, I'm just for my sanity, just gonna drop the color a little bit to some off-white. All right, okay. So now when we preview it, we got the primary color, the awesome, sweet parallax effect, back into the section again, and then into the parallax again. So isn't that dope? But what if you want to do something crazy and change the background when it gets to this section? So I want to do this and make the minimum height viewport. So now it's like one huge section, and just to avoid some confusion, I'll add a heading. Okay, so now we got this other section here. Let's just call it about for the sake of us, about. And then, so now we have this giant section. Let's preview it really fast. So this is going to be the entire viewport, and then this. So my question to you is, what if we want to change this background on scroll? So that'd be sick, huh? So we go back up to the component and we add a variant right here, and this one's going to be called background change or better yet, background 2. I'll just call it background change. So we can do many backgrounds, but we're just going to do 2 for the purpose of this demonstration. So then we're going to come over here and change the image to, let's do another lummy one, whatever one pops up. I guess this flower one will work. I'm a sucker for floral, if you didn't notice. So we got floral here. Then we're gonna add a scroll variant. So effects, scroll variant, section in view, the about section. Wait, did I name? No, let's not do that. Okay, so I don't have the section created. So let's see if I have this section created here. Add a scroll section to the section that you want to change. So this is going to be this is not actually the about me. Actually, this is about me. And let's get rid of this one to avoid confusion. Let's just avoid this. Yeah. But okay, so just to recap, so I don't confuse anybody. We're going to go to the section that's going to be the viewport. We're going to change that and add a scroll section. So in this case, it's called about. We're going to go back up to the main component, and this is the background, you know, so it's stuck up here so you can't see it. And we're going to add a scroll effect. So in effects, click that, scroll, section into view. So when the about section comes into view, we're going to change the variant to the other one, which is called background change, or background 2, background 3, whatever you want to call it. Let's make sure the footer doesn't have a, okay, good, it doesn't have a fill or anything. And the next section doesn't have a fill. It does not. Okay, perfect. What should happen is the main background is going to scroll down to the about, and then when it gets to this section, it's gonna change. And so I made this viewport height full right here because it's gonna take up the whole viewport, so you won't see the change. So it's gonna be subtle, i.e. now. Let's take a look. Hero, beautiful, what do you call that, fixed background, and then right here behind the scenes it's gonna change and you can't really tell it's happening. See, so that's my favorite way to do that kind of effect, but that only works if you have a section with the background color. So there you go. The second way I have is a lot more cumbersome, and we'll go to we'll use this is my client's website, my most recent one. They wanted the fixed background, right? And then they wanted the other background to be fixed as well. So they wanted 2 fixed backgrounds, and you can't do that in Framer. So let's just take an example of the site. Here's the fixed background. See how it's fixed? Then you get to the next section and it's changing into another fixed background. And then it's going away from that section to the original fixed background into another fixed background. So they just wanted all these fixed backgrounds. It was just like crazy. But that is how they wanted it. But this is the other way to do it. You just do it. You go to hero, you go to the next section, and you fill it with the background image that you want. And then you have to drop in a code override to get that to go. So if you look at the code here, you're essentially creating a component where you are targeting the HTML section that you're on, and you are adding a style background. The CSS style background would be a background attachment, fixed, and scroll. So if you know CSS and HTML, aka you know ball, then you know that the background attachment attribute is going to have that like extra fixed background for that element. So you have to drop that code override into it, and that's literally the only way to do that. I will show you the site in a second right here. So we're gonna go to inspect section right here, section ID hours. So if you notice right here, the element.style, so this is the inline element that the code override is injecting. The background attachment right here, fixed. So that's what's creating this sweet parallax. I kind of actually don't recommend this because if you're on iOS, it doesn't work on mobile. And it never will. iOS just doesn't do this background attachment. This is just a preview, but the fix is another code override, so that's why another code fix inside of that override. So if you look at the code here, not to get too much into the science behind it, but and I'll drop this code snippet in a Notion thing for you to look at and use anytime you want. But essentially, yeah, you're kind of, if it is iOS, you're removing that because it causes the background image to expand on mobile devices, on iPhones only, and so it looks really bad. So there's a code snippet in here, right here, right here. So if it's mobile, just basically take that fixed to scroll, so it's just like normal. And that's the only way to do that if you were to do this particular case. But the case that I showed you here on this demo is like my favorite. So this is what I would normally do anyway. But this is just a good way to show off the effects on how you could do this for different sections. And I never saw this on the tutorials. I could not find it at all. And I was kind of perplexed. I was like, dude, I can make a tutorial on this because I haven't seen it. So that's my short tutorial. I hope it was brief. I hope you learned a little bit. Once again, I will drop that code override if you wanted to do the override method, but otherwise, this way is the best way to do it. And I appreciate it. More tutorials and videos coming soon. Please stay tuned. I am off camera because I have just moved. This is actually my first recording into my new home. I'll do a cool office tour and I'll show some cool stuff. I kind of had it pretty much set up. I just don't have everything and I'm still unpacking. So, you know, I'm excited to get back on YouTube. I'm excited to get my groove back. I've been having a huge like design block, if you will. I have like zero motivation to do anything. I see people creating these badass templates and I just have not got into it. Like, I don't know, let's just take Twitter. Like, yeah, I just see people creating the coolest things, creating components, creating like designs, shots, so everybody can show off. Yeah, shout out to my boy Mateus. This dude's putting in that work. He's one of the guys that always hits me up. I'm all about the community, so like if you show love for me, I show love for you. We all show love. We're all helping each other out. We're helping each other grow. So, but anyway, back to my, so that's why I want to give out shout outs every time I see somebody on here when I'm doing these. Yeah, back to my main topic. The simple fact is, look at just how beautiful this kind of stuff is. Shout out to Liana. She does this. She's one of the goats in my opinion, that at least style that I like to follow. I don't know. I just mentioned that because I saw her right here, but this is the kind of thing that kind of gets me discouraged. I'm like, man, I can't really do that. I just don't have enough time to do it because I have that full-time job and the move, and I want to have fun with my friends now that I'm back in Austin. So I just like have no motivation, but I will find it. Trust me. It just takes a long time. I first have to find the gym. I have to find the routine, and once I find all that, then I will be back in posting and doing all kinds of cool stuff and finding out how to do some templates. Because the reason I love doing templates is because I don't have anybody bothering me, telling me, do this, change this, I don't like that. It's worth it to do client work, but I do love template work because you can be extremely creative and stuff. So anyway, that's my rant. See y'all later. Peace.